Hello and good morning. And this video is designed to talk to the scientists and the inventors and engineers of this world. I do believe and I do know that global warming is real. Okay, now how do we combat it? Now everybody's talked about the fear of global warming and the effects of global warming. Okay, we've all had the fear and the danger, the possibility, and the misconception, and think, oh no, it's not happening. No, yes, it is happening. Let's get away from that. How do we avoid it from ever happening? How do we take these places in the world that are very arid and very dry and very hot, where nothing can grow there appropriately? How do we do this? Well, I got one working model for you. Okay. One simple mind with one working model. Okay, now I could give you many models, but this is the one off the top of my head at the moment. Just to work on this one. It's basically good for anybody out there that wants to do something, to work on one thing at a time so they can actually focus on it and make it efficient and make it work appropriately. Okay, this is it. In the world today, we have motors that run on magnets. We got motors that can run indefinitely on magnets for years until the parts wear out. So the energy is there and it's available. It does not need no fossil fuels, no existing wires, no special apparatuses. It's just a motor that can be designed to be put to use in any type of appliance or any type of thing that runs any type of motor whatsoever. It'll run it. We don't need the combustion engine. It's still going to be there because people are making money off it. But what I want to get at is, how do we combat this problem of global warming? Well, you can divide. First of all, you can put refrigerated units. Okay, now you can laugh at this all you want, scientists, but I want you to look at this. You can put these large refrigerated units in areas of the world where global warming is having the most effect, especially in where the glaciers are melting. It can even be on a small scale, anything that will help to recool those areas down so that the water would stop melting. It's basically to stop the water underneath the glaciers from melting, because this is what causes the greatest damage. So we put refrigerated units there, okay? Units that dispel cold, moist water. Have you ever been to an amusement park and during a hot day they had this cold mist coming out? Okay, so you can actually use the water that's already flowing from the glaciers to go through these units and spray out a cold mist that is very close to the point of freezing. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? Pretty close to the point of freezing. So when it comes out in a mist. And these areas where all the water is coming out, is take that water and refreeze it so that it freezes solid against the ground once again, so the glaciers don't continue to melt and slide forward into warmer water. And yeah, you say this would take a big undertaking. Well, what would be the result if we don't do something? The result would be more devastating than it would if we didn't do something. And this is only one small scale model of what can be done. You can build upon it, just like mathematics. Mathematics is built upon one part of mathematics to the next, and it excels. Okay? So what I'm suggesting to you scientists out there, if we could pulse heat energy at enemies during a combat situation to cause them to move out of the way, you're telling me we can't pulse cold air or cold energy towards something? Come on, scientists. Get those creative juices flowing. If one theoretical principle applies physically, and in physics it can apply to another thing in such a different way, or in the same way. See, we're so limited in our constructs of understanding and developing ideas. We get so centered on, this physical principle, it only works and applies in this one area. No. Everything builds upon one another. Everything is interconnected in some way or another. Magnetism is connected to electricity, and electricity is connected to magnetism. They're interchanging one another. They're always moving. That's why we have energy. Okay? That's the basis of the energy on this earth and this plane we live on. Now, like back to these motors I was talking about. These motors can be used for anything. anything you can put your mind to use to help benefit the environment. Just cooling down an area, even if it's a small area of an arid area, cooling it down and being able to grow crops there. I mean, you'd be surprised. You could take for example, if you want to use an experiment, here's an experiment for you. Go to one of the hottest and driest arid climates in the world. Okay? Take yourself maybe 100 of these refrigerated units that spray a cold mist of water at the point of freezing. Okay? So we can maybe control the temperature in that area to take it down 20 to 30 degrees, so it'd be more of like a tropical climate type environment. Or make greenhouses that do the same thing in effect. And try this experiment out and see how it works. And then you can apply it in a large scale. See, this is just one simple working model. And I'm sure that I have many, because my mind is always working and always thinking. This is what we got to do. The mind needs stimulation. And you scientists out there, you got to stimulate it outside the box. You cannot continually be stuck in all this book knowledge. Okay, once you've learned the book knowledge, and once you have a central way of exercising your mind, a professor told me once in college, he said, Carl, mathematics is just an exercise for the mind. Oh, so I got it. So everything can be mathematical in a sense. Everything can be an exercise of the mind. What the mind can perceive, the mind can bring about. Just about like longevity, they're finding ways to increase lifespan and increase health and vitality without all these chemicals that we put in our bodies as we get older. I don't want to go off a tangent here. I tend to do that. I'm salad-brained at times, scientists out there. But I'm suggesting this. Take that one working model that I've given you, expand upon it. Just like you do in math, expand upon it. Add a foundation, build on that foundation, and you have some of you guys out here have very analytical minds, very mathematical minds, very creative minds. Some of you scientists out there, and some of you people that are born geniuses, or I consider to be learned geniuses, because there is no such thing as a super genius. They're just people that are excelling and using their mind more proficiently over time. But do what I'm asking you, please. Listen to me. I don't have money or resources. I wish I could conduct my own experiments. I wish I could go out there and show you scientists these working models. See, the thing is, we put so much emphasis on complexity or complex things that we don't work on the simple basis of things. The simple principle of things, that's how things came about, by simple principles. We built on these simple principles. Get away from the complexity so much. Yeah, you can. Something that's complex starts out simple and branches out. Start this the same way with this project of helping the environment and helping global warming. Start out small. Do small-scale experiments. And then branch out, and if you want to put some complexity to it, you will. But all complex things is an accumulation of small, simple things built upon each other. And if you have an analytical mind and you got a scientific way of thinking of things, you'll understand this. Everything starts out as a seed. Okay? Everything starts as a seed. The seed grows, it gets roots, and it becomes more complex. But it starts out simple and branches out, just like any thought or any imagination that you have. Basically, I want to teach you. And I'm an ordinary person. My grandfather was an ordinary person, but he taught me something. You could be anything you want to be. You can explore anything you want to explore. When I was a child, I had a nightmare, and I woke up from it. My grandfather says, "Stop being afraid. Someday you might be an astronaut or the president of the United States. You can't live in fear. You got to exercise things outside of fear and actually put forth an effort to make things happen." So it doesn't matter who you are. If you proceed on something and you have the right intentions and it's built on simple principles and it works, build upon it. This is what I'm trying to get across to all you scientists and all you learned people of the world. Quit being conformed to their form of learning. Understand, once you have the basic underworkings of your mind. In other words, you know how to exercise your mind, because that's all education is an exercise of the mind, and we expand and build upon what we've exercised. Okay. When you get out of school, it's no longer books no more, book learning. It's actual hands-on applications out in the field. That's what you scientists got to start working on. True life applications outside in the field. Laboratory work is wonderful, but you got to exercise it in a real time scenario. You can't wait years to apply what you've learned. You got to start putting applications in the field, but make your laboratory the field your laboratory. Take it outside the laboratory and exercise it and see what kind of effects it has on the environment around you. You can't isolate it in a laboratory, because you're not going to get the true findings. If you want to use something that's going to be effective outside the laboratory, your laboratory has to be outside in the physical world, this physical realm, things that interact and connect with this, because there's certain intertwining things that you're not going to see in a laboratory or on paper. Okay? So get your minds together. Listen to what I'm saying. Take this simple model that I've given you. I'll give you more, but I'm only going to give you a little bit at a time, because not that I'm some great person. No, I'm just a person that uses what I have and use it to the extent of letting you know that simple thoughts and processes lead into more complex processes, which are just a conglomeration of a bunch of simple processes working together as a whole. Okay? So take this little thought that I've given you. These motors are probably available on the market right now, but not in our country, of course. Okay? They're an electromagnetic engine. Okay? And these engines can be installed in any type of working device that involves using a motor or any other thing. I'm not sure. I'm not really mechanically inclined. I mean, I work on airplane engines, but I'm not really mechanically inclined to as far as the engineering aspect of it. But take what I've given you. Work on that one thing. Find a place in the world where there's glaciers, where you can go, and where the government will allow you to do this experiment to cool down certain areas where glaciers are, or very arid areas of the world, and work on this experiment. Space out these devices, these freezer units that spray a cold mist of water just above the point of freezing, and see what kind of effect it has. You can even direct it towards the skies too, like higher elevations in the mountains, and spray this mist into the atmosphere to cool the atmosphere as well. This is a very simple process, my friends. But the only way you're going to do this is enact it on a real life scenario. If you wait years and decades, you may not live another 10, 15, 20 years, you older scientist. Or you may. But why wait? If you wait to compile your findings, all right, by that time it may be too late. Go out there today. Experiment in the real world, in real time. It's just water. It's just refrigerated units. It's just a mist of cold water. What can it hurt? It ain't going to hurt the environment. Cold water ain't going to hurt the environment. But if you cool down these areas, you'll be able to grow crops. You'll be able to refreeze these glaciers to a certain point, to where the melt level, or the thermal, I can't explain it exactly, but you're able to keep these blocks frozen at a temperature where they will not melt and cause damage, and you'll cool down those areas where people can actually grow crops, and you can spray this mist of cold water into the atmosphere and cool it down, even if it's only a minute, if it's only like 0.01 degrees or whatever. Over time, that little bit of cooling will entail a little more cooling, until you get it to a point where it comes back to the original state where everything is in balance on this earth. So think about it. This is just a working model and working idea. Go out there and try it. Don't wait. Go out in the field and do it. Don't wait years, because we don't have years. See you later. Peace out.